Welcome to the Writer's Journey podcast. I'm Michael Laron, a science fiction and fantasy author on a journey to go from nobody to bestseller, and I'm documenting every step of the way. Tune in every week as I pull back the curtain on my writing life and how I'm building a writing career while working a full-time job, raising a family, and attending law school classes in the evenings. You can find show notes for this week's episode, a free starter library of my fiction, and much more at michaellaron.com. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to episode 56. 56 episodes in. It is the beginning of April, means it's a new month, and here in the United States, spring has started, although it's been very cold here in Iowa. And things are going really good with me. Shadow Deal, almost done. I got the cover back, so the cover is looking really, really good. I'm very happy with it, so I will post a link to it in the show notes, and be sure to check it out. There aren't very many urban fantasy books with an African-American hero on the front, and so I really liked what James T. Egan of Bookfly Designs was able to do. So that is the final step. I've just got a few launch things that I'm going to put into place before I launch it. I've got to write my autoresponders and my newsletter stuff, and so I want to have all that teed up before I publish the book, and then I'm going to publish it and then publish the paperback and make sure everything syncs up, and then I'll send out the links. So be sure to be looking out for the book when it comes out next week. So for those of you who want to support me and who want to read it, we're coming down to the final moment here. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the book does. My theory on how it's going to do is that there's not going to be very many sales in the beginning, and that I'm going to have to throw a lot of ads at the book. I don't know why that is. Actually, I do know why that is. It's mainly because Amazon has become pay-to-play these days, and it's so much different than when I was publishing 4 years ago. And so I think this is really going to be interesting to see, because I'm a debut author, technically, because the book is being published by a pen name, M.L. McKnight. And so how does a debut author in 2019, just the nuts and bolts, actually go about marketing a book when they have almost no traction, almost no audience, and almost really nothing to help differentiate them or stand out in the marketplace other than what they think is a good book? So, we're getting down to the wire here. Everything I promised, I promised that this would be the, when I was creating the course that is going along with this book, I said it would be the most comprehensive course that's ever been done on the craft of writing. And I stand by that. And it's going to be comprehensive in that I'm going to find out if I fail really quick. And if I do, that's fine. A lot of really great things came out of it. So another thing I wanted to talk about was what I was going to write next. So I think I alluded to the fact that I was going to write a dictionary. I can't even remember. So I was deciding between a nonfiction project, which is this dictionary that's basically going to be a list of terms that every author needs to know. And it's not just writer terms, because I think writers know the writer terms, but it's also business terms, marketing terms, legal terms, and things like that. And it's like a hybrid between a dictionary and an encyclopedia. And it just really just explains everything at a very high level so that you can understand what things like return on investment are, and what the BISAC system is for books, and why it's very important to understand that as an author especially when you're doing marketing and just things like that, right? And so I don't think that this book will be a big, oh my gosh, people are going to beat down my door to go get it. I think it's actually going to be more of a dud than anything else. But the reason I'm creating it is because it's part of a bigger content strategy that I'm creating around Author Level Up, which is, how do I create useful tools that writers can use every day in their writing businesses, right? And so I'm taking a little bit of a different direction. And so now that I've finished this course, now that I'm just about to finish Shadow Deal and get it published, and I won't have to worry so much about publishing course content every week, and I won't have to worry about doing everything in public anymore. I'm at the next juncture in what I want to do. And so my vision for the nonfiction writing books that I'm doing is to have I don't know, just a very high number of books that attack all aspects of being a writer at a 201 level, right? So I've got How to Write Your First Novel, I've got Be a Writing Machine, and then I'll have this dictionary, and then I've got some other books that I've got planned. And the point is how can I have something there in a book form to help a writer at each and every step of the writing process in a way that is different than what's out there now. And so I've been thinking a lot about that. And so with this dictionary, I am a couple letters in. I think I'm through the letter I now, which is pretty cool. So I'm almost, not quite, but almost halfway. And I don't think it'll take me much longer to write. It's actually been a pretty smooth and easy project. But basically, that's just another brick in that foundation, right? And so it's something that it's not going to cost me a whole lot to do, and it's just something that I think first-time writers will really find useful and enjoyable as well. So I'm going to do that, and I think that won't take me very long. And then I need to write the novella for my Lester Broussard series, because I kind of forgot to do that. So I need to write a novella that people are going to get when they sign up for the mailing list. I definitely neglected that and put that off too long. I don't know what it is. It's just writing like freebie books and like novellas that you're going to give away and things like that. Those are always harder for me to write. I don't know why. And then I'm going to move on to book 2 of The Good Necromancer. And so now that I've got more downtime and now that I've kind of got some clarity on how this project went, now it's time to also start rethinking the writer's journey and also author level up. So what's my content strategy? And what am I going to be doing to make this podcast more engaging? And so I've had a few ideas. The hard thing with this industry, and it's something that I've struggled with for a long time, is how do you take the art and craft of writing and how do you make that visual, right? And how do you make it something that people want to tune in and listen every week? And if you look at the major podcasts out there right now, and the major videos and the YouTube channels and all that, and all the resources for writers, it's all very intellectual, right? Like when you talk about marketing your book, you can't really show someone how to do that. Yeah, right. When you talk about studying the craft of writing, you can't really show someone how to write a book. You can tell them how a book should be written, or you can tell them what a character should have, or things like that. But there's just nothing tangible. And this is something that just bothered me for a really, really long time because, I watch a lot of YouTube because I'm a YouTuber. I need to watch YouTube. It's like reading books. You can't be a writer if you don't read books, right? You can't be a YouTube professional if you don't watch YouTube videos. And one of the things that I watched with a lot of YouTube channels is that, and podcasts, same thing applies, is that there's something very tangible that a lot of successful podcasts, they can talk about. So like right now I'm in the process of buying a house, and this house is going to need some lawn care. It's going to need some tender loving care for the lawn, and it's not in bad shape, but there's just some things that it needs that I've learned mowing my own lawn over the years. And so I just happened to be searching for podcast, and I found The Lawn Care Nut by Alan Hain, and he basically shows you how to mow a lawn and advanced things that you can do, and how to put down fertilizer and how to read the labels on the fertilizer bags and things like that. And it's so interesting because you can see it, right? It's like a home improvement thing. You can see it. You can go to the hardware store. You can buy the same bags of fertilizer that he uses, and there's just something very interesting that you can connect with. And I don't feel that you can do that with writing. And I don't know that that nut has been cracked yet. I think that whoever can figure that out, whoever can figure out how to make the art of writing visual, I think is going to win in terms of writing services, because blogs and podcasts and YouTube channels, they're all saying the same thing. Right? Everyone says the same thing. Here's what your character should do. And that's fine. I think we need that to a certain degree. But I think that there are other dimensions of being a writer that I think haven't been explored yet. And so that's just a long way around of saying that I'm trying to think about that. I'm thinking big because you guys know me listening to this, I can't afford to do anything else. And so with this podcast, I'm just thinking about how I can take this to the next level and how this podcast can supplement what I'm also doing on YouTube and vice versa. And so I think I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to probably hold myself up in a coffee shop at some point over the next month, probably in May, and just really think about this and really try to come up with a better strategy on how to be more engaging and how to create content that's going to last and content that people are actually going to find helpful. So I also want to give a huge shout out. I hit 2 major milestones last month. Well, this month. I can't remember. I get the days mixed up. So my YouTube channel just hit 10,000 subscribers. How cool is that? I mean, 10,000 people tune in to watch me every week. Right? When I started YouTube, I just decided I'm going to put myself on camera. I guaranteed myself that no one was going to watch it. You know, my video production wasn't really that good and my sound wasn't good. But it turns out people really like the content that I was creating. And I've built a community of amazing YouTubers who comment on all the videos that I write or that I make, and that they share it. And it's just an amazing milestone because most YouTube channels never get anywhere near 10,000 subscribers. You know, generally you see the million YouTube subscribers and the 3 million channels and all that. But the reality of YouTube is that most people never get very high at all. And so I'm just honored and blessed to have such a great community of people and to be creating content that people are wanting to see and that are finding engaging. And so I always have to be thinking about how do I take that to the next level without going overboard. Right? You know, because the last thing I want to do is make content that's not going to be a good fit for people. And so I just want to have a huge shout out, and that's a major milestone for my YouTube channel. So here's to another 10,000, and hopefully we can get to 100,000 at some point, maybe 1 million, who knows? But I don't care so much about the numbers, but I do like to celebrate the milestones. And my podcast, actually, the Writer's Journey podcast, surpassed 1,000 listens in the month of March. So 1,000 people are listening to this show every month. That just blows my it blows my mind. You know, I started this podcast as a way just to let people know what I was up to, and I think it became a little bit more than that. And it's just really cool to think about. You know, when I'm driving to work, there are other people who are driving to work who are listening to my show, or they're listening to my show while they're at the gym or while they're doing their chores or all that. So I'm just really honored and blessed that you guys tune in and listen to me every week, and that you listen to me ramble and you put up with my silly skits and all of that. So 2 major milestones for this past month. And with that, I'm going to sign out. Next week, expect all the deets on where to find Shadow Deal. So if you've got $2.99 laying around, you wouldn't mind helping a brother out and buying the book just to show some support, that would be fantastic. And if you want to read it, that would be great too. So hope everyone has a great week wherever you are, and we'll talk to you next month. Thanks for joining me this week. If you like this episode, you'll enjoy my backlist episodes at michaellaron.com/podcast. For your free starter library of my favorite novels, join my fan club by visiting michaellaron.com/fan-club. If you're a writer and you want to connect with me further, check out my YouTube channel, Author Level Up, for helpful writing advice at authorlevelup.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back next week.